దులిపేస్తావా? క్లాస్ ఉంది.
క్లాస్ ఉంది.
లేదు కదా, ఇప్పుడు అన్నా లేదని.
అది ఎప్పుడు అన్నాను?
ఇప్పుడు అన్నావు కదా.
In the input statement, after the variable name, if you mention the dollar symbol, I told you that will become character variable. Otherwise, the variable will become numerical variable. But when you're importing in data from Excel sheet or a CSV file, you no need to tell which is a character variable, which is a numerical variable. SAS can automatically detect it, and it can read is a variable is a character or a numerical variable. And apart from that, I told you in the third method, when writing a variable name is equal to value, after is equal to symbol, if you write anything within the quotations, automatically that variable will become character variable. Otherwise, the variable will become numerical. So that means if you write anything without quotations after is equal to, then the variable will become numerical variable. Understand this one? So this is what we have seen in the last class. Clear, everybody?
Yes, sir.
And then we started discuss. Then the third important variable attribute that we have, variable length. Variable length. Yes, anybody any doubts? Now, when I'm discussing about the length, I want to discuss separately for character variable and a numerical variable. First, we'll discuss about the variable, character variable length. Then we will go with the numerical variable. Okay? Okay. Now, this is my data. I want to create a data set. Okay? So I have 3 lines of in-stream data. I want to create a data set. Now tell me how you will write the program. Now data set name, say for example DS1, and of course you do not require in-file statement. So directly I'm writing the input statement. In the input statement, I'm writing ID, name, sex, age, and salary semicolon. Then I'm writing data lines. Okay, and finally run semicolon. And you know that after the name we should write the dollar symbol. So if you write the dollar symbol, now the name will become character variable. Sex the dollar symbol, now this also will become character variable. Okay, now if I select the program, execute the program, and I told you by default how SAS can understand the data. I told you by default space is a delimiter. Now, space and 8 characters, whichever comes first, 0, 0, 1 will go to ID, and after the space 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This Ronald will go to name, and after the space M will go to sex variable, and after 23 space will go to 23 will go to age variable, 50,000 space this will go to salary variable. So in the input statement we have 5 variables. In each and every line we have 5 values, and each value is separating with a space. So not a problem at all. If I execute the program, we are going to have the data set. Everything looks fantastic, but if I open this data set, if I click on double click on the variable, now we'll get the name variable attributes. Can you see what is the length of the name variable? 8. I told you when you're writing an input statement, by default, the length of the variable is 8. Now, by default, what is the length of the sex variable? The length of the sex variable is also 8.
8.
So when you're writing an input statement, the length of the variable is the length of the character variable by default is 8 bytes. What is that one? 8 bytes because we measure the memory in bytes. 8 bytes is equal to 8 characters. 8 bytes is equal to 8 characters. But tell me, do we require 8 bytes for name variable? No.
No, sir.
What is the maximum length that we require?
6.
6. Because the longest name that we have a Ronald, and we require 6. Now, if you want to keep it to only 6, when we have an input statement like this one, you need to write $6 dot. But the problem with this program is now every time it looks for 6. Do you require every time 6?
No.
No. Say, but when we have a clerk, we don't require 6. So in that scenario, what we need to do, we need to read up to 6 or space, whichever comes first, we should stop there.
Okay.
If you want to stop in that way, what we should do, we need to mention
Colon.
Very good. Now see, if I select the program, execute the program, we are going to have a DS1 data set. Now what the length of the name variable? The length of the name variable will be 6. Can you see? Now the length of the name variable is 6. Now I reduced the length from default 8 to 6 bytes. Now in the same way, if I want to control the length of the sex variable, tell me what should I do?
After dollar symbol, $1.
$1. Because every time we require only one, every time we have only one character, now I'm writing $1. Do we require colon symbol here? No.
No.
Because we have every time uniformly one. Now I'm selecting this program, I'm executing the program. We have a DS1 data set. Now go to the sex variable. If I open the sex variable, now can you see what is the length of the sex variable now?
1.
So when you write an input statement, the default length is 6. So the default length is 8. But how we can increase or decrease? If you want to decrease in the input statement of the variable name, you should write how much length you want to have. We can write it. So I require maximum 6 here, and here I require maximum 1. I have written in that way. Clear, everybody? Now, say for example, this is my data. I want to create a data set. Now I'm writing data, DS2. Then I'm writing the input statement. I want to have ID, name, $symbol, sex, $symbol, age, and salary, semicolon. And then I'm writing data line, semicolon. Finally, I'm writing the run statement. Now tell me, if I execute this program, what will happen?
Only 8 characters come in here.
Very good.
Only
Now you know
8
that
bytes
again.
we can see.
Very good. 001 will go to ID, and I told you space or 8, whichever comes first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It will stop here, and the remaining part will be get ignored. You'll get only this part into name variable. So that's why I will not get all the 3 names completely. The data will be get truncated. So that means whatever that default 8 bytes that we have, that may not be enough. Now then what we should, if you want to have the complete. So if you want to read all the name completely, the longest name that we have this one, I want to have 5, 8, 10, 12, 14, and 16. What should I do now? Name, $symbol, 16. But we don't require every time 16. Then what we should do, we need to specify, colon $16. But sex variable every time 1 is enough. Now I'm writing $1. Now, what is the length of the name variable? The length of the name variable will be 16. Understand this one? I will show you one more data. Here, say for example, I have some data. I want to create a data set. Tell me what input method I should use if you want to read this data successfully. What method I should use?
DS2. No, ampersand, sir, we can use.
Why we should use ampersand?
Because
Why we should use ampersand?
It
Single
can
space can read. It can read
Single space at the
two
dealing
consecutive spaces.
in between variables. I am asking why we require.
because
In
between
the
name variable.
in between name variable,
we have single
first
space.
of
They
all,
have
yes,
spaces
sir.
in the name.
And you should tell the name contains embedded spaces, sir, and the data is a non-aligned manner. But luckily, the name value and the team values are separating with the minimum 2 consecutive spaces. So what we can do? We can use ampersand. We have multiple embedded. We have embedded space in the name. The data is a non-aligned manner. And luckily, the name value and the next team value is separating with the 2 consecutive spaces. So now the conditions are good for ampersand. Now I'll use ampersand. But if I use ampersand, now tell me what is the length of the name variable you will get. Students are waiting. Chandramouli, I do not have that right to, what do you call, admit them. Now, what is the length of the name variable now? The length of the variable name is going to be 8 only. So you will not get all the data completely. Tell me, what should I do if you want to get all the data completely? So you require maybe 20 or something. I'm writing it 20 dot. Now my question is, what is the length of name variable now? The length of the name variable is going to be 20. Okay. Now, so when you're writing an input statement, you can increase the length of the variable or decrease the length of the variable by specifying how much length you want to have after the dollar symbol by specifying the number or width dot. So if you specify $20 dot, now the variable length is going to be 20. If you specify $16 dot, now the variable length is going to be 16. If you specify $1 dot, the length will be 1, so on so. Say for example, I have a data like this one. I have some text like this one. Okay, and then I have an is, and again I have a text like this one. So tell me, what is the best method that we have to read this data? We can use either formatted input method or we can use the column input method. Remember?
Yes.
So now data, I want to have a demo data set. Then I'm writing the input. I want to have X variable, numerical variable. I want to have Y variable, character variable, and I want to have a Z variable. Tell me, what is that? If you want to read this data successfully, how do you want to write the program? Now, you know what we should do? We should give the starting column, which is 5, and which we should give the ending column, which is 47. After the Y variable, I'm writing 5-47. Now, my question is, what is the length of the Y variable? The length of the Y variable is going to be 47 minus 5 plus 1. It is going to be 43. Can you see the length of the Y variable? Then how much length we can write maximum? If it is a character variable, the minimum length you can have a 1 and the maximum length that we can have is 32,767 bytes. That is the maximum length of a character variable in SAS 9.4. Minimum length, what is the minimum length of a character variable? 1. And what is the maximum length of a character variable you can have?
32,767.
That is the maximum length. Okay. When you're writing an input statement, you have an accessibility for the length, but now I want to import an Excel sheet. You know how to import Excel sheets, right? Now here I have a SAS folder. In the SAS folder, in that I have a SAS data folder, in that I have an Excel folder, in that I have a course Excel sheet. Now I'm holding the shift button, giving a right click, copying the path. Now I want to import an Excel sheet. You know how to write the program, right? I'm writing proc import. Data file is equal to the path of that Excel sheet. In the same statement, now I'm writing out is equal to, I want to have it as a cars. DBMS is equal to XLS. Now I'm writing replace semicolon. Now tell me, what are the variables we are going to have in the cost data set? We don't know. What proc import will do by default? Whatever the information that we have in the first row of this cost Excel sheet, those will come as a variable name. Will come as a variable names, isn't it? Now see, when you do not writing a variable names, when we couldn't able to write the variables, how we can define the length of a variable? No, we can't do that. We no need to do, because when you're importing an Excel sheet or a CSV file, SAS can automatically detect the text. To avoid the truncation, how much length you require to read all the data. Based on that, it will scan, it will decide the length of the character variable. Now, what is the length of the model variable? The length of the model variable, we have 40. How it will decide? Simple. It will go to that Excel sheet. In the Excel sheet, what is the maximum length required to read data without any truncation? So for example, here we have a model. To read the data in this column, how much length we require without any truncation? So it will decide that one. Based on that, it will decide how much length we require, so that it is going to assign the length of that variable. So if you want to read all the data in the model column without any truncation, how much length it requires? 40. It will decide the length of the variable 40. You don't need to do anything. SAS can automatically. So if you want to read the data into type without any truncation, how much length it requires? 11, and it will assign the length 11. And in the make, how much length it required to read the data completely? It requires 16. Automatically, it will scan it and it will decide the length. So when you're importing an Excel sheet or a CSV file, you no need to do anything. SAS can automatically understand. It will decide the length of the character variable. Clear, everybody?
Yes.
Sir,
Okay. Yes.
in the above situation, if you don't have double space between the two variables, what to do, sir?
Where?
In ampersand.
No, you cannot do that in that way. Ampersand. Data at least should be in aligned manner. So if the data is not in aligned manner, if the data doesn't have the two embedded spaces between the name value, team value, you will not have any other choice. You should take each name as one variable, and then later you need to concatenate all the values. Understand?
Okay.
I need to take Jason as one variable value, shock as a one variable value, long as another variable value, and then future low, we can concatenate all the values. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Okay. Now, I am creating a data set called class 1. I'm creating this from SAS.class. Okay. Now, if I execute this program, tell me what will happen now. In the work library, I will have a data set called class 1.
Last one.
In the class 1, what variables we are going to have? Whatever the variable that we have in the SAS.class, those variables will come into class 1. Isn't it? So in the SAS.class, we have name variable, we have a sex variable, we have an age variable, height, and weight. Obviously, those variables will come into class 1 also. Now, I will show you the class 1. Now, if I click on the name variable, the length of the name variable. Can you see what the length of the name variable?
8.
Can you see what the length of the sex variable?
1.
Very good. Now, I want to have a length of the name variable 20. In the class 1, I want to have name variable length 20. So far, how we are applying the length? We are applying the length in the input statement, isn't it? But when you are creating a data set from existing data set, do we have input statement here?
No.
No.
Then how to increase the length of the name variable in the class 1 data set? Now, if you want to increase the length, now we are going to write a statement called length statement. Okay, and what is the purpose of length statement? Length statement is useful to assign the length for a SAS variable. Assign length for a SAS variable. So how to assign the length? By the way, how much length I want to have for name variable? 20. Okay. Now, if you want to have length 20, you should write a length statement. You should write literally length. For which variable you want to assign the length?
Name.
Name. So length of one space. Now we should write the variable name. Since the name is a character variable, you have to give the dollar symbol. And then how much length we require?
20.
20. Now we should write the 20 semicolon. Now select this program and execute the program. We are going to have a class 1 data set. If I open the class 1 data set, we are going to have a name variable. Previously, we used to have a length 8. Now, can you see how much length we have now?
20.
20.
20.
Now tell me, I want to have a length 200. If you want to have a length 200, how we should write it? Data set name, set existing data set name, semicolon run. Now I want to have length 200. Tell me how to write the statement now. Length, variable name, dollar symbol,
200.
Now select the program, execute the program. You will have a class 2. Now can you see what is the length we have if I open this one now?
200.
200.
We have length 200. Now I'll show you something. I am writing name dollar symbol 32,767. Okay. Now see, if I select the program, execute the program, we are going to have a class 2 data set. If I open the name variable, can you see what is the length we have?
32,767.
What if I increase 1 extra byte? See, I'm writing 768. I'm select before that, I'm deleting all the data sets to avoid the confusion. Selecting the program, executing it, you will have a class 2. Unfortunately, you will not have any data. I want to check what exactly happened. I'll go to the log window. Now, this is the problem that I have. Can you see what the error that we have?
The
The length of character variables is 1 to 32,767.
The length of character variable is 1 to 32,767. You cannot have more than 32,767. So, and the minimum length we can have is 1. Understand this one, everybody?
Yes, sir.
yes, sir.
Okay. This 32,767, is from V9th version. So right now, what is that SAS version we are using? 9.4, right? This, whatever the 30,767 we have from engine 9, that means 9th version onwards, 9.1, 2, 3, 4, like that. Before V9, we used to have a character variable length maximum 200 characters. Maximum. FDA and CDISC still using this rule. That's why when you're submitting the data in future in clinical trials, the maximum length of a character variable, you can have only 200 characters. That is the rule according to FDA guidelines, because still they're using the old format. But in SAS 9th version from V9, which means version 9, what is the maximum length we can have for a character variable? 32,767.
167.
But what is the FDA and CDISC guideline is saying? How much the maximum that we can have for character variable according to FDA? 200. Don't confuse with this one. This is in clinical trials. Clear, everybody?
Okay, sir.
Now, I'm creating a data class 3. I'm writing set from SASL broad class. Okay. Now, in the SASL broad class, we have 2 variables. I want to give the name length 100. And I want to give sex length 50. So that means I want to assign length for 2 variables in one program. If you want to assign the length for 2 variables at the same time, now you should write length. What is the first variable? Name variable. Character variable dollar symbol. How much length you require? 100. And by the way, some programmers, after writing the width, they will keep a dot symbol off. Also, if you want, you can keep a dollar symbol. Without dot symbol also you'll get it. You'll get it. Okay. Now space. What is the second variable I want to assign the length? Sex variable. Space. It is also character variable dollar symbol. How much do they want to have?
50.
50 dot semicolon. Okay. Now if I select the program, execute the program. Now if I open the class 3, we are going to have a name variable. And can you see what the length of the name variable? 100. And we have a sex variable, and the length of the sex variable is
50.
That means we can assign length for multiple variables in one statement. Clear, everybody?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now I want to assign length for name variable 500. Tell me one more time how to write the program. I want to have length 500 for name variable. Data. I'm creating a class one. Set
SAS
self.class.
semicolon.
Now I'm writing a length, name variable, dollar symbol, 500 dot, 500 dot, semicolon run.
One.
How much length I'm giving for name variable now?
500.
500. Now I'm selecting this program, executing this program. We have a class one. I'm trying to open the name variable. Now, can you say what is the length we have in name variable?
80.
That means whatever the length I'm applying, it is not getting applied. Do you know the reason, anybody?
Length we use after
We use above set. Data set.
above set
Very good. Very good. You know, when writing a length statement in this program, which statement is going in the first position out of these two statements?
length.
Set statement is going in the first position, right? In the set statement, what we have? SAS self.class.
Class.
In the SAS self.class, we have a name variable. In that, the name variable length is 8. When it comes with the length of a variable, whichever statement goes first, that will decide the length of the variable. Understand? Whichever statement goes in the first position, that will decide the length. In the last class, I told you, if you read the same statement 2 times, so the latest statement is going to override the previous, right? But when it comes with the length, whichever statement goes in the first position, that will decide the length. That's why, since the set statement is going in the first position, in that we have SAS self.class, in that already we have a name variable. That's why in that name variable, the length is 8, which is deciding the length of name variable in the class 1. So if you are writing a length statement along with the set statement, you should always write your length statement before set statement. Now, since the length is going in the first position, in that we have a name variable. For that, I specified 500. Since this is going in the first position, it will decide the length as 500. ఆ తర్వాత మీకు క్లాస్ తర్వాత SAS.class అందులో నేమ్ వేరియబుల్ ఎంత 8 ఉన్నా ఓకే, నాట్ ఏ ప్రాబ్లం, బికాస్ దిస్ స్టేట్మెంట్ ఇస్ గోయింగ్ ఇన్ ద ఫస్ట్ పొజిషన్, that will decide the length. Now say, since I'm writing the length in the first position, now the length is going to be, can you say 500? So it should be very important when you're writing a length statement should be always before the set statement. Understand this one?
Yes, sir.
Do you know what is the order of the variables in the SAS self.class? Anybody? First, we are going to have a name, then sex,
Name, sex, age,
height,
height, weight.
and weight. Okay. Now I want to create a class 2. In that, I want to give the sex length, 10. Tell me how to write the program.
Data.
Class
Class
2.
2.
Length.
First of all, I will write the program as this one. So I'll go with the length statement. Now I am writing length for which variable?
Experiment.
Sex variable. It is a character variable, dollar symbol. How much length I want to have?
10 dot.
Semicolon. Now, which statement is going in the first position, length or set?
Length.
Since in the length statement, what variable we have?
Sex.
So that's why you will get the sex variable first. Then you will get the remaining variables, name, then age, then height, then weight. So the sex variable length is going to be 10. And at the same time, what is the order of the variables? Since the length statement is going in the first position, these variables will come first. Understand this one? Now see, if I select the program, execute the program, we are going to have in a class 2. Can you see which variable we have first?
Sex variable.
Sex variable. Because the length statement is going in the first position. But if you want to have variables in the same order again, or in fact, whatever the order you want to have, now before the length statement, you should write retain statement. In the retain statement, now whatever the order you have given, now the variables are going to come in the same order. So retain statement retains variable order. I will discuss about the retain statement later very in depth because it has got so many real-time functionalities. But so far, retain statement will retain the variable order. Since in the retain statement, I'm writing name first, then sex, age, height, and weight. Now, if I select the program, execute the program, you will have a class 2. Again, can you say what the variable order I'm getting? Whatever the order I have given in the retain statement, you will get the same order. Because the sponsor will ask you, I want to have variables in this order. So you should write in the same order. Clear, everybody?
Yes, sir.
Now, I am writing data set name DS1. I'm writing name is equal to within the quotations ROM. Now, can you tell me name is a numerical variable or a character variable?
Character
Anybody?
variable.
How we can say it is a character variable?
Within the
Ram
quotation.
is within a quotation.
Within the
Because we have a quotations. That is fine because we discussed in the last class. Now, my question is, what is the length of the name variable?
3.
Now, very good. Whatever the space that you have given, whatever the length you have given within the quotation, that is the length of the name variable. So now, if I execute the program, we are going to have a DS1. In the DS1, we are going to have name variable and we have value RAM. If I open this one, can you see what the length of the name variable we have?
3.
3. So remember, only when we are writing input statement, the length will be default 8. Okay. Now I am writing name is equal to Rama space Krishna. Now what is the length of the name variable?
12.
The length of the name variable will be 12 because we have Rama space Krishna. The length is going to be 12. Understand this one?
Yes, sir.
If I specify say for a Ramakrishna Reddy or something, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, I will have 18.
ఆఫ్లైన్ అండ్ ఆప్స్ కూడా పెట్టు
సార్ ఓన్లీ ఇన్పుట్
Yes.
స్టేట్మెంట్ ని డిఫాల్ట్ లెంత్ 8 ఉంటుంది
Default 8.
క్యారెక్టర్స్ దాటితే సెట్ లో రాదు
Read out. Read out.
ఓకే సార్
ఈ జీమెయిల్ తో లింక్
Now I'm writing data DS2. Okay. I'm writing name is equal to Ram. I'm writing name is equal to Srinivas. What is the variable I'm going to have in the DS2? How many? What is the variable?
నేమ్
name variable with the data value Srinivas.
How many observations I'm going to have?
1
One, sir.
What is the value I'm going to have?
Srinivas.
Why Srinivas? Because both are same statements. The second statement will override
ఫస్ట్ వన్
first statement.
First one.
But remember one thing. Since this statement is going in the first position, what this statement contains? Name. In the name, what is the value we have?
రామ్
Ram. So it will decide the length of the variable. It will decide the length of the variable 3.
Okay.
ఒక్కసారి length decide అయిపోయింది అనుకోండి, that's it. Once the length has been decided, that's it. Now this statement is going to override the previous statement, but since we have length only 3, only this part will be come in the new data set. So that means you will get only one observation. Now what value will get now?
శ్రీ
You will get only SRA because the length we have only 3. Understand this one?
Yes, sir.
Now tell me, if I write the same program in this way, now what will happen now?
We'll get Ram.
Will get the length of 8.
But what is the length of the name variable?
8 will
The
get
length will be 8 bytes. Because Srinivas is going in the first position, it will decide the length, and the length is going to be 8. But what value will get? You will get only Ram, because the
Ram.
second statement will overwrite the previous one. Understand this one? Now I'm writing, data set name. I'm writing, say, for example, name is equal to, Kim. I'm writing, say, for example, name is equal to, Donald Trump. I'm writing, say, for example, name is equal to, say, for example, Now, tell me what I'm going to have.
We will get only 3.
Only
Not
3
only
NAR.
What value will get?
NAR.
I'll get only
NAR.
one observation. I'm going to have only the length of the name variable is going to be only 3. I'm going to have only NAR. But I want to have Narendra Damodar. Okay. Damodar Singh Modi completely. What should I do? If you want to have complete name, before the name is equal to Kim, I should write a length statement for which variable I want to assign the length.
Name.
Name
Name
variable.
variable. It is a character variable. I want to have length maybe 50.
50.
Now, which statement is going in the first position now?
That
Length
length
statement.
statement.
Now it will decide the length. So we are going to have length of 50. Now, since we have enough length, sorry, what is the data set I created? Did I execute my program? DS1, sorry. Now can you see? I'm getting Narendra Damodar Singh Modi completely. So you should write the length statement first. Clear, everybody?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now we will discuss the length of numerical variable. Clear, everybody? Character variable length. How to increase the length of a variable or decrease the length of the variable when we have a set statement? By using a statement called length. How to write the syntax? And I will tell you one more thing. Before moving into the numerical variable length, I know I want to create a class 3 from sassel.class. Okay. When I'm creating for both name and sex variable, I want to have a length of 500. Same length for 2 variables. If you want to have same length for 2 variables, first write the length statement, write the first variable name, then write the second variable and keep a dollar symbol, then write the length. Now, the same 500 will work for both name and sex. So that means if you want to have the same length for 2 variables, you don't need to specify every time. Write all the variables, then dollar, whatever the length you want to have, we can write. See, name length is going to be 500 and the sex length is also going to be 500. Clear, everybody? Now we'll discuss about numerical variable length. I want to create a data set. Sorry. I want to create a data set. Now I'm writing data demo1. In that I want to have, employee ID, EMP ID, and then account number. Account number. Then I'm writing the data lines. Employee ID 101 and the account number is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 102. This is the account number of the second employee. And this is the account number for third employee. And this is the account number for fourth employee. I want to create a data set. I told you, when you're writing an input statement, what is the default length of a variable?
8.
8 bytes. Okay. Now, but how many digits I have in the first observation? We have 12 digits. Okay. Now I'm selecting this program. I'm executing the program. We have a demo 1. Now, can you see? Can you please carefully observe? Do we have all the 12 digits or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
But the length is only 8, but we got all the 12 digits, isn't it? Because in SAS windowing environment, according to SAS, 8 bytes is equal to, 8 bytes is equal to 12 digits. So if the length is 8 bytes, how many digits we can keep now? We can keep 12 digits. If it is a character data, 8 bytes is equal to 8 characters.
8 characters.
Understand this one? Now, what will happen if we have a 13th digit? Now I'm keeping a 13th digit. Now we'll check what will happen. Now I'm selecting the program again. I'm executing the program. We have a demo 1 data set. Now, can you carefully observe how we have account number value? In the first observation, can you see what is the account number that we have?
ఓయ్ ఇవి తీసి పెట్టంటే అవి మరి అవి ముట్టుకుంటావు.
Now, can you see the first observation? What is the value that we have? 1.1.2345679 E12. Can you see this one? We have an alphabet E.
Yes, sir.
Now, if you have more than 12 digits, SAS cannot handle it. It will convert that value into electronic format or E format or E notion. You know, when we were kids, we used to use calculator. You know, after reaching certain number of digits, what is the value we used to get? We used to get E.
Yes, sir.
Because a calculator cannot handle after certain beyond certain number of certain range. If you have more than that, it will transform that into E format. In the same way, if you have a 13 digits, more than 12 digits, SAS is going to convert that into electronic format. Then now what we should do, if you want to read all the 13 digits properly, what we should do? Tell me, give me an idea. What we did if we have more than 8 characters? If it's a character data, we use a length statement to increase the length of the character variable. In the same way, I want to increase the length of account number. Tell me what you want me to do.
Can we use length statement, sir?
Colon symbol, no, you can use the length statement. I want to use the length statement. Of course, you can use the length statement with input statement also.
Okay, sir.
Now, but you know, if you want to write the length with the input, you should always set the before the input. Endukante, if the input goes first position, it will decide the length.
We can't change the length.
8. Isn't it? Input, but default, what is the input statement? Statement will decide the length. 8 only, no?
8.
So we should write the before the input. Now I'm writing the length statement. For which variable?
Account number.
SEC number. I'm writing SEC number. It is a numerical variable, so you no need to write the dollar symbol. How much length you want to make give?
13.
13. I'll give 13. No semicolon. Okay, before that, I'm deleting my previous data set. No, now I'm selecting this program, executing the program, open the demo data set, demo 1. Unfortunately, I'm not having the data. I want to check what exactly happened. Now I'll go to the log window. This is the error I'm getting. Can you see what is the error we have?
The length of the variable is 8.
Length of the numerical variable should be present between 3 to 8. We cannot have more than 8 bytes, and you cannot have less than 3 bytes. Then what we should do if you have, I told you 8 bytes is equal to how many digits?
12 digits.
12 digits. Then what we should do if you have more than 12 digits? Unfortunately, we cannot do anything. SAS cannot read if you have more than 12 digits. But we can read up to 15 digits. I will tell you later how to do that. But in normal conditions, it can read up to only 12 digits. What if you have more than 12 digits? No other choice. We cannot read as a numerical data. If you want, we can read as a character data. So if you want to read a character data, then what should I do? I need to specify a dollar symbol. Then you can write how much and you want to have, you can write it now. Isn't it? You can write up to 32,767. But this data will become character data. So if somebody asked you, if I have 20 digits in a numerical variable, how to read that? Unfortunately, we cannot read that as a numerical data because SAS cannot handle, because the length of a numerical variable in SAS is only maximum 8 bytes. 8 bytes is equal, if you are using Windows operating system, 8 bytes is equal to 12 digits. But in future, if you are using a Linux or a Unix operating system, in that operating system, 8 bytes is equal to 16 digits. There, in that operating system, we can have up to 16 digits. But since we use Windows operating system, the length of the variable, numerical variable, is only 8 bytes. Understand this one, everybody?
Yes, sir.
This is about the length of a numerical
Sir, in
variable.
Linux it is 16 digits.
Yes, 8 bytes are there. 8 bytes is equal to 16 digits.
Okay.
But in Windows operating system, 8 bytes is equal to
12.
12 digits.
12 digits.
Sir, once repeat that you had said that statement in data statement like only 8 digits, like default it will be there.
Yes, see, now I'm not writing length statement. If I'm not writing this, I'm keeping only 12 digits. Okay. Now, if I select the program, execute the program, we are going to have a demo one and we got the data. But if I open this one, what is the length of the variable now?
8, sir, it's 8.
8. I'll do one thing. I think, did I specify the dollar symbol? I'll remove the dollar symbol. Now select the program, execute it. We have a demo one. Open the account number. Can you see? Length is 8. Okay, but it's reading 12 digits. Okay.
Yes, sir.
But if you have more than 12 digits, it will convert that into which format?
E format, electronic.
E format, electronic or E notion format. So now, if I open the data set, can you see? We have e to the power of 12.
Yes, sir.
This is
So
about
up to the maximum length, if it is there, length will be 8 only.
only 8 for a numerical variable.
Okay.
Clear, everyone? You know, this is a character variable, right? Instead of writing a $6 dot, you can write the length statement here also. I'm writing only dollar symbol here. Sex also I'm writing just a dollar symbol. But if I want to give the length for name 6 before the input, we can write the length statement here. Name variable, dollar symbol 6 dot. Sex variable, dollar symbol 1 dot. You can write here also. But when you're writing a length statement like this one, you no need to write the colon symbol because already length has been decided as in a 6. Here the length has been decided as in a 1. So we can write the length statement with the input statement also. Understand this one?
సార్ ఇన్పుట్ స్టేట్మెంట్ లో లెంత్ మెన్షన్ చేసేటప్పుడు కొలన్ సింబల్ ఇవ్వాలి ఇలా లెంత్ డైరెక్ట్
Yes.
లెంత్ అయితే అవసరం లేదు
You don't require that one.
ఇన్ ఎనీ ఇన్స్ట్రీమ్ డేటా ఇట్లాగే ఉంటుంది
Yes.
ఓకే
And the length statement will not work if we have embedded spaces. Okay, we can write only length statement if you do not have embedded spaces. When you're writing an input statement.
in aligned order.
No need to be aligned order. Here also you can write the length statement, but you should not have an embedded spaces.
Okay.
Clear, everybody?
Yes, sir.
Anybody has got any doubts so far?
Sir, what if you want to increase in Excel files or import data? What?
First, you should import the data. Say, for example, I will do one thing. First of all, I will import the data by using this program. Okay. Now I have a cost data. Say, for example, here we have a variable called model, and the length right now we have in a 40. I want to have 100. First, import the data, and then write the set statement. Data cost 1 set cost run. Now before the set statement, length. Say for example, model or something, dollar symbol, because we can write the length statement only in the data step. We cannot write the length statement in the proc step.
Okay.
Okay. Now we are going to have length. How much length you want to have? We are going to have it. Clear, everybody? And next 3-4 classes are going to be very, very important. Please do not skip the classes. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay then. See you in tomorrow's class. Okay, guys.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, sir.